At 10 past 2 in the afternoon, on December 5, 1945, 5 torpedo bomber aircraft of the U.S. Navy, with 14 crew members, took off from Florida towards the east. This mission was called Flight 19. It was a 3-hour-long routine training mission. They were simply flying to conduct their regular training missions. But just after 2 hours, their squadron leader, Lieutenant Charles Carroll Taylor, reported that he was facing problems with his compass. Suddenly, he took out his backup compass, but it also malfunctioned.
Both my compasses are out and I am trying to find Fort Lauderdale, Florida. I am over land, but it is broken. I'm sure I'm in the Keys, but don't know how far down, and I don't know how to get to Fort Lauderdale.
He asked the pilots of another plane, but their instruments were also showing anomalies. Now, they started getting confused about determining their actual position. The weather was getting worse. At 4:56 in the evening, Taylor was on the view that their planes were flying over the Gulf of Mexico. So they needed to fly eastward to get back to Florida. He commanded the rest of the planes to fly east. But at the same time, some of the pilots believed that they were already flying east of Florida, and they needed to fly westward. And that was probably right.
Damn it, if we could just fly west we could get home. Head west.
But eventually they turned eastward, following Lieutenant Taylor. The weather continues to worsen. The sun was setting, and the darkness of night was spreading everywhere. At 7:04 p.m., we got the last radio signal from Taylor, about 370 kilometers east of Florida. After that, they lost. To search for them, a search and rescue Mariner aircraft took off carrying 13 people. While searching for them, it too disappeared. To date, we have no clue about them. Where those aircrafts are gone. Neither we find the body of any person nor any part of a plane. Everything has disappeared. Interestingly, over the past 50 years, more than 100 ships and planes have gone missing in this mysterious stretch of water in the Atlantic Ocean. Today, we know this area as the Bermuda Triangle. This area lies between Florida in the USA, Puerto Rico, and Bermuda in the north. It makes a triangular area like this. Overall, this area spans more than 500,000 square miles. Tales of the Bermuda Triangle are older than 500 years. 1492, when Christopher Columbus set out to find the New World, he reported that when he was passing by this area, his compass stopped working. And one night, when he looked at the sky from his ship, he saw a strange light that looked like a ball of fire. And he saw that ball of fire fall out of the sky into the ocean. This was the beginning of the mystery. Over the next few centuries, several names were given to this area, such as the Graveyard of the Atlantic, the Sea of Doom, and Sargasso Graveyard. The name Bermuda Triangle was used for the first time in 1964 in a magazine called Argosy. There was an article by Vincent Hayes Gaddis in 1964 titled The Deadly Bermuda Triangle. This was the first time the phrase Bermuda Triangle was used. In this article, he tried to create a mystery, claiming that there is something peculiar in this area of the ocean by articulating many strange disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle over the last few decades. This made the mystery of the Bermuda Triangle the most popular at the time. There was another horrifying incident in the year 1918. It involved the USS Cyclops, one of the biggest and fastest ships of the U.S. Navy at the time of World War I. On March 4, 1918, this ship began its journey from Baltimore, towards Brazil, carrying more than 300 people and about 11,000 tons of manganese. Everything was fine with the departure of the ship. The weather was clear. But that day was the last day that ship was spotted. To date, we have no clue where it has gone. This incident shocked everyone. If you think that this incident was mysterious, then there was a more daunting and frightful incident. The Mystery of Ellen Austen, a 210-foot-long ship traveling from London to New York. While passing this area, Ellen Austen encountered an unidentified ship. From the outside, it looked normal, but there was no trace of any human on this ship. The captain of Ellen Austen, A.J. Griffin, brought his ship alongside this ship and waited for 2 days, but there was no response from the ship. After that, the captain set foot on the unidentified ship. Everything was intact, and all the stuff and valuable items were in place as they should have been. It was very clear that the ship had not been attacked by the pirates. But where had the crew members gone? After discussing this with his crew members, Captain Griffin decided to send some of his crew members on that ship, and they would continue their journey on both ships. After 2 days, a storm came, and their paths got separated, and the unidentified ship had disappeared. After the storm was over, the captain spotted the ship with his spyglass. When they reached it, there was again no trace of any human aboard the ship. Where did the crew members go? What happened to them? We don't know. But the ship was still intact. It is said that Captain Griffin tried once again to bring the ship with him and send some more of his crew members to that ship. But again, another storm, and the same story repeated itself. When Ellen Austen returned, its owner heard the story. He was so terrified that he sold off this ship to a German company. And they changed the name of this ship to Meta. This story has become a legend that has been passed down to us from generation to generation. But the truth cannot be unearthed. Some people even try to link these disappearances with aliens, and according to some, there is a giant monster under the ocean. What do you think? So, let's try to dive in and find some scientific reasons. One of the explanations is based on the magnetism of the Earth. The magnetic North Pole and the actual geographic North Pole of the Earth are two distinct points. When you look north on a compass, the compass actually points towards the magnetic North Pole, not the actual geographic North Pole. That's why there can be a difference between the actual direction and the direction shown by the compass. On the other hand, there are some points on Earth where you can find the magnetic and geographic North Poles at the same place. These places are known as agonic lines. And these lines continuously shift their position with time. This can create confusion. Another explanation given by many experts is that the Bermuda Triangle lies in a relatively shallow area of water. And this fact stands out when looked at through a satellite. Ships could have stuck in the hidden shoals. Another obvious reason for the missing of ships and aircraft is the fact that this area has the highest rate of hurricanes in the world, after China. China is at number 1 in terms of number of hurricanes observed per year. After that, comes USA and Cuba. Apart from this, there is another hypothesis. In Australia, scientists conducted a laboratory experiments, in which it is found that there is an inverse relationship between the presence of methane bubbles and the density of water. When the presence of methane increases, the density of water decreases, and the buoyancy of a ship cannot be maintained. This area has large fields of methane hydrates, which led to the drowning of ships. But in all the disappearances in the Bermuda Triangle, there was no direct evidence of this phenomenon. There is another explanation, which is more psychological. This is known as the frequency illusion, also known as the Bader-Meinhof effect. It states that when we start to notice things more, we start finding them more often around us. This is the same psychological condition. When you choose a number as your lucky number, you start to notice that number everywhere. Though it is true that some big aircraft and vessels disappeared in the Bermuda Triangle, this type of incident happened all over the world. But people didn't pay much attention to them. On the other hand, the mystery that has been attached to this Bermuda Triangle tends to exaggerate the fear, and the fabricated stories started to come into existence. The Coast Guard of the USA doesn't even recognize the Bermuda Triangle as a hazardous area. The area within the Bermuda Triangle is heavily trafficked, that's why the chances of such incidents happening here increase. When WWF conducted their detailed study in 2013 for the world's 10 most dangerous bodies of water for shipping, the Bermuda Triangle area was not on the list. Come to Columbus's account. Scientists believe that it was actually a meteor.